In this particular session today we are going to discuss about another report, and that report which we are calling as a complex interactive report using with the events. So what was the main purpose of this events report in the sense of, say for example, as we discussed in the previous, the client is asking about of the details of the customers, and the client is giving the what that means, what they're requiring like this: 1 and 2 and 1000. And whenever they're executing this report, what exactly the client is asking, that in the output she is required the customer, that means CUS number, and then CUS name, then order date, as well as order value. And after that, what my client is saying, that whenever the customer number one way has been came, and the customer name is something else, and the order number is something else, and is having the order number of so and so. That particular customer is having the order number of the 101, and the material value or the order value here it is $100. And as like as the same customer one and the same of ASD is having the another order also with the $900, and as like as the customer number one, the customer name of ASD, and the order number of the 123 is having some of the order values like this. So whenever this customer orders has been ended, that means automatically the second customer will becomes. And before of getting that second customer details, what my client is asking, that it has to become as an underline, and even it has to be shows that the total value of customer is, and it has to display the total value, means like that 1890. That's what they are asking. So, and after that it has to be shows that one more underline, and after completion of this customer, again it has to be start the customer number 2, and it was on a BCD, and the order number of the 67, and it contains $100, and even the customer number 2, and it was on a BCD, and the order number of the 167, which contains the $200, and as like as customer number 2 of the BCD, and which contains the something order number, and it was in 100, as like as whatever the particular customer is having the orders, and into the order values has to be comes into this, and even after getting of these order values, it has to be shows as a total value of the orders when it was in the sense of at the end of the customer number. That means what the client is asking, that I want the customer details of the orders from here to here, but when during of that situation, when during of that, in between of that, what I want that whenever the customer will be ends, that means if you can write that at end of the customer, at end of the customer, it has to be proposed as in a one underline, and after that it has to shows the what is the total order values also. So that's what exactly the client requirement. So for fulfilling of this requirement and the gap analysis, which I am doing the one of the report, one is the richest report, which is called as a complex complex interactive report with select condition select condition, and also instead of using the LDD, I'm using the direct read of the table, and also I'm making the relation in between of the those of the two database tables or three database tables and the multiple of the database tables using inner join. The condition itself which we are calling as an inner join. So for this report, either it is a complex report or we can call it as a classical report also. either the complex or we can call it as a classified report. So for this one, first of all, when we are logging onto the SAP, let me log in, double click on the SAP logon, and then log on, app server, log on. There, after entering of this one, so the tool which we are using here also, SE38. So what exactly by the SE38 in the sense of the ABAP editor, as which we have seen in the previous videos. So here I am making the SE38, and when we are entering onto the SE38, it asks me about what is the program which you are writing. So as we wish, we can take any of the program name. So here I am taking my program name as an Z Interactive. It means I want to make the report of the interactive report. So how the interactive report will be works, and how we have to make a development of the interactive report. So for that, which I am doing here create. So I think so Z Interactive is already there. Z Inter, this is also there somewhere. And Y Interactive create. So what it was, the title of the program. So the title of the program here writing that my customer, my customer and sales order wise, my customer and sales order wise, sales order wise, my customer sales order wise, total amounts, customer wise, order wise, and sales wise total amounts. And here the type of the program which I am getting here as an executable program, and then enter, select the local object. Then we have to start the program. So as which we have discussed in the previous session also, whenever we are starting the program, first of all we have to know that whatever the things which we have to start. That means from where we have to get the data. So we need to get the data from the different types of database tables. Here I am using the one of the database table name which is called as a customer, and the second database table which I am using is a sales order. So for those of the two sales orders which I am having, which we need to declare the tables PA, PL, PS. And whenever we are using the multiple of the tables, we need to separate as a column. Anything on SAP, it should be the multiples. We have to separate with the column. And here, I want to get the KNA1 and VBA. I am taking two of the database tables. One is the KNA1, another one is the VBA. The KNA1 represents the customer details, and the VBA represents the sales order details. So here, after maintaining of those of the both, it means one is the customer and another one is the order. And after getting of these two details of the customer and order details, that means order tables, what I have to write. So which the client is asked that the report should be. That means when they are calling the report from customer number from and customer number 2. So for that, first of all, we have to use the condition select options, as which we had discussed in the previous also. Select options. And what do you want? So what the client is asking here, it is they want to put the selection options of the customer. That's why here select options customer or CNO, something whatever. Select options customer for select options customer for KNA1 KUNN. Let me check it out what will be happens from here. Done and test it. Done. This has been done. That means first of all we have made the selections. So by this selection wise I want to make it. Done. And after making of these selections, what we want to do exactly in the sense of, first of all, I'm creating one internal table. So what exactly by the internal table, in the sense of the internal table is a dummy table, or else which we can call as a temporary data table. Whatever the data which we are having into the database tables, the database table, the multiple of the database tables data has to be comes into one internal table with the combination of multiple tables. So for creation of that one, first of all we have to create the one structure. So in the structure which I am writing types, that means whatever we have used as in a types, that can be called a multiple of the type. That means whatever the structure which we are designing, instead of the data we are using the type, that can be utilized a multiple of the times within the same program, which is called as a local variable. So here in the types, what do you want? So whenever the types will be said that, and we want to create a one structure or a table, that structure or table will be starts with the keyword of begin of. And what is yours? You can take anything, your wish. Say for example, if I'm saying here to the A tab, that means I'm creating one internal table with the name of the A tab which I have mentioned. Otherwise, just make it as an strc. So I want to create one structure. The structure name should be starts with the strc, and under the structure, what do you want? That means first of all I'm preparing one box or one shelf. Under that box, which I have mentioned, the name for that box is in a strc, and under that box or under that particular structure, what do you want? In the sense of which I am saying that I am in require one thing as an A1. I am in require one thing as an A1, and what should be this A1 in the sense of this A1. A1 is an A1 field which I will require, and that A1 should be as like as an KNA1 of KN. Means I am in require one A1. See for example of what I am creating here is, first of all I am selected one structure. I am going to create one structure, and under the structure, what should we have? For that, what I am saying that it should contains the A1 and A2 and A3 and A4 and A5 and A6. These are the six fields which I has to. And whatever the A1 will be there, that A1 value, that means what is the A1 in the sense of that A1 value has to be comes from the KNA1 table. Under the KNA1 table also it is in a KVL. And the A2 will be the KNA1 of name, and as like as A3 will be the KNA1 of land 1, and A4 will be the KNA1 of, sorry, VBAK of VBELN, that means order number, and this one also the VBAK of ERDA, and as well as A6 of VBAK NETWR. So these are the fields which are required. So for that, this structure name which I have mentioned as an strc, and under the structure, what I am saying that under the structure it contains the A1, that should be same as like as in a KNA1 of KVN1. As like as I am in require one more A2, that should be comes as in a KNA1 of name 1, and I am in require A3, that should be contains something like this. So which I am preparing one structure now. For creation of a structure, which we have to use the keyword of the begin of. So under that begin of, what I am saying that there should be I need a structure. The structure is contains those of the fields, and those of the fields should be like comes like this. Those of the fields which I am required. These of the fields. SC38, and then Y interactive, change it, and there is KMU1, KMU1, and then which I set the types, the types, and then this types and begin of strc. Under that strc I am in required one thing of E1, and this E1 should be as like as an KMU1 of KNR, and A2 there should be the type of KNU1 of main1, and again A3 type KNU1 of land printing, and then A4 type VBAK of VBELM, and A5 type VBAK of ERDAT, and A6 type VBAK of NETW. I am in require of one structure, and the structure should becomes like this. The structure has to becomes like this. The structure name is in a strc. Under this structure, I am in require these of the variables, and those of the variables can come from this database table. Whenever we have started the structure, and whenever it will be going to complete the structure, what we have to do that we need to use the end of, as like as in the previous which we will use that select has to be closed with the end select, and case has to be closed with the end case. As like as the structure will be starts with the begin of and ends with the end of STS. Done. So the structure has been defined for me, and whatever the structure will be there, it means whatever the things has been came into the structure, I want to use the structure. I want to use the structure. So whenever I want to use the structure of that one, what I am doing that, for that I am preparing one work area. So that means I want to make some work. What is the work in the sense of the sum which I want to. For making of this sum, I am taking one other area. So for example, this is the structure, and I'm going to create another one, and I'm going to create another one, and I'm calling this as a something. First of all, the structure has been done, and I'm creating another work area, and how the work area will be. For that, I'm preparing that work area with the name of data. That means it is only the data, nothing will be there. That's why data. Under this data, what I want to do, in the sense of I want to create one table. So the table which I am calling as an A tab, I taken as an A tab, and this A tab should be same as the STRs. So first of all, I have created one structure, and I am saying that I am in required one work area, and one work area. This was an A tab, and this A tab also can be comes with the reference of the structure. Means whatever the things which we have having in the structure, the same things has to be comes into this A tab also. Done. Next, what we have to. So I want to make the structure of the fields also here. See, whatever the structure which we are having the fields, the same thing like that it will is also. And even whatever the field values will be there, the customer number of the 100, the customer number of 2000, the customer number of the 101 and something. Those of the same values also has to be comes into here. One of the structure and one of the work area. This work area has to be like the structure, and even whatever the fields will be there, the same fields has to become here, and whatever the values will be there, those values also same as into this work area, same as into this work area. For that, what I am writing here is that data t underscore eta. What is the T underscore in the sense of whatever the data of that table which we have taken, under that whatever the temporary data will be there, whatever the temporary data will be there, the same temporary data whatever we are having in STRC, whatever the data has been came into the structure, and the data of the structure, whatever the data will be there into the temporarily, and that data also, the data also, so type standard table of, should be also as like as a standard table of STRs, means that should be also same as the something something, and with default key, with the default key. That means the same keys with whatever we have mentioned, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, with the same keys, and even the size also will be the same. That's why initial size 1, in the sense of whatever the things will be there, the same things has to be comes into here. Same thing will become here, and even with header line also. That means even with the headings also. That means I need one structure, under the structure these fields should be there, and after that I need the one work area, and that work area also should be same as the structure, and whatever the structure which we are having the data, that means those of the fields, the same fields, whatever the things will be there, that means the values will be there, that values which I am taking as an T underscore temporary data, whatever the data has been came into the temporary, and all those things also has to become here, and now I am preparing the selection. So I need a selection option. Like first of all, let us check it out up to here. Is there any syntactical errors will be there or not? So if there is any syntactical errors, it will not process. Automatically it will begin to block. That means the error will become as like as which we have created in the previous. If there is no more errors, automatically the system will revert. We have to get already I have typed into this. I will make a copy of this.
Hello?
Yeah, tell me, Atul.
It's one interact, na? It's interact, na?
Yeah, one interactive which I am taking with the multiple of the tables. It were two tables.
No, report you have taken some other. You have selected other report.
Where it was?
Interactive you have taken. It's here report one interact, na? It's so you have taken one interact.
No, there is an interactive only.
Okay, okay.
This is what we have. This is what. Here. So types Begino STRC. That is, I need the one structure, and I am required the name of A1, A2, and A3, and even with the A4, and even with the A5, and even with the A6, and end of strc, end of strc, and after end of the strc, I want to define one work area. For that, data is tab, data is tab, type strc. That one itab also has to become, that should be also the same as like that. And then next data t underscore strc. Whatever the data will be there in the strc, the temporary data t underscore strc, type standard table of, right, standard table of, strc, with the default key, and initial size 1 with header line. It should be the initial size with the 1. That is, whatever the values will be there, the total values has to become, and that size will be the 1. It means the same thing has to be. And just check it out now up to here. Done. And even if I can execute it, nothing will be happening. Only the customer selections has been done, nothing else. Here also we have written that selection options of the customer number for KNA1, KUN. That's why after making the activate and I'm executing also, the nothing will be values will be coming. Why? Because nothing has been done for us. So that's why here and the next step, what I'm doing that I want to say that at the top of the page the report has to be started. At the top of the page. For declaring of the top of the page, the cursor has to be start top of page. At the top of the page, what do you want? So at the top of the page, I want the records. Right. The first of all the headings, which I am writing 20 customer number, then comma, there should be no spaces here. Right. Customer number, and the second one is customer name. The customer name at the rate of 40. Customer name, and then 60 country, and then 80 order number, and then 100 order date, and then next 120 order value. So these are the headings which I am required. But see, some problem will be there. So this is it. Let us check it out whether any errors will be there. I think so, some errors will be there. What it was? See, literal text to make up to the not permitted, where it was in the row of 17. So this is the 15 and this is the 17. What was the error here in the sense of the colon? We didn't close it the colon. That means whatever you want to print exactly, that has to be closed in the, that has to be comes into the within the colons, but we didn't close it the colon. That's right. Now check it out. Activate it. Execute it. And then execute it. See? Hello. Nothing will be coming here. Hello. Hello. Nothing will be coming here. Why? Because nothing will be coming here. It is at the top of the page. You are saying this should become. At the top of the page, it should become. But in before of the top of the page, what we have to write here is it has to be starts with a separate block. In the events, I need one separate block when it was in before of this one. Let's make it here. Here, select options for customer to so and so so and so. And before of that one, select select selection screen. Selection screen. Begin of. That means it has to be start. Begin of block A1. Something, whatever. Either A1 or A2 or something, whatever it was. It has to be comes with the so and so. And whenever it was completing in the block, the selections, after that, screen end also. Selection screen end of A1. One is the start of the event and the selection screen end of block A1. One is the selection screen starting of the block A1 and the second one is the selection screen of selection screen of starting of block B1, A1 and ending of block A1. So in between of that block, this has to becomes like this. And after that, at the top of the page, let's see, just it, this one number one, and let's see. I think so. It was also not coming. Why? Because after the top of the page, whenever we are using, it has to be concluded as an end of. But we didn't mention any end of. We have mentioned only the top of page. And even those of the database tables of the board doesn't having the integration. That means there is no more joins which we have written here, which we didn't written here. That's why it was not showing anything. And after completion of this, it has to becomes one underline for me. U line done. After getting the U line, what we have to do? And essence of, first of all, I need the one structure. The structure should be as an entire. Whatever the data will be there, that has to be same as the temporary data, and one of the block has to be starts under the block. This has to becomes under that after the block. What it has to do in the sense of now we are starting the event. For calling of the starting of the event, start of selection. Whenever the event will be starts, we need to write as a start of selection. Now, here we have to write the join. Here we have to write the joins. So, in the joins, what we have to write, or else how the joins will be there in the sense of select something. You can take any of the variable. Say for example of B, and the button will be the like this. This is the button. That means the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 under the line, the starting of the symbol will be there. So in SAP app, the symbol is used to make the relation between of the multiple of the tables and the multiple of the fields, which is called as a joins. For making of a join, we are using this symbol, and here I am asking that I need the V. I need one of the thing as an V, and that V should be like as an KUNNR, and even I want one more, that should be as an name one, and even if there is a one more, that should be as an land one. That means I am taking KUNNR and the name one and the land. That means the customer number, customer name and country. I am taking these three with the duplicate name of the V, and as well as I am taking one more as an a K. K of VBELM. That means order number. K of ERDAD and K of NEDW. This one is the order number, order date, and as well as order value. and
Sir, why K and V is taken?
either just for the roughly for making up some x, instead of the x I have taken as an some v. There is not a mandatory to make it
You
as
can
a v and k.
you can take any alphabet in that
Anything,
case.
anything you can. Anything you can, whatever we are saying that I'm having totally 6. Under the 6, I'm saying that these 3, which I'm calling as an x, these 3 which I'm calling as an y. Like that, here what I'm doing that, whatever the values of these 3 will become, will I am taking, which I'm taking as an v, and these 3 which I'm taking as an k. That's all. There is not a mandatory to make it as a simple. And even from where this data has to be comes into table, means these are the values into from the table of T underscore strc, means the temporary data which we are having on that strc. From there it has to be takes, and from v as knu. Even you can ask that what is the v, which I am declared that v has to become as an a knu1, that v has to become as an a knu1, and even it has to be make as an inner join, means inner join, that should be having as an inner join. How it was? Here, knu1 as k, knu1 as k, inner join, vbak as knu1 as v, which we are taken as a v, and vbak as k. Now here the relation has been k. Inner join of vbak as v on where it was, on where, from where it has to be in the sense of v of KUNNR has to be equal to the k of t. Means whatever the both of the database tables which we have mentioned as an one is the v and one is the k, and in between of those of the both of the v and k, whatever the KUNNR will be there, it has to make it as a relation of inner join. And whenever we are getting that inner join in between of the those of the two, in between those of the two, from where it has to be shown in the sense of these two values has to be equal on, and again where, from where, in the sense of from where I am writing as, from where I am writing as v of KUNNR, v of KUNNR in the selection field which we have given as a customer, the selection field which we have taken as a customer. Now the output will become. Till now we didn't get the output. Now you can get the output. Why? Because we have mentioned that if the values has to be comes into this, it has to be like this. But in before of that we didn't done that one. That's why it will be the problem. But now we have done that one. The output has to be comes like this. Now here the inner join also has been cleaned, but I want to write the output. So in before of writing of the output, first of all what I am saying that I want to start the one loop. Okay. How the loop will be? Loop in the sense of nothing but like a recurring cycle process.
Okay, Vijay,
Yeah, tell me.
I ask one question.
Sure.
Can you prepare, what's it called? Okay, for what it's doing now, just do you need to write any functional specification with what it's doing?
Yes. In this year, what are the functional specifications which we have to mention for the ABAP? Say for example,
Yes.
from your side, you are a functional guy, which is, and you are working for the financials and in the banking industry, say for example. So your client is asking that I need the report of customer number wise order and as well as the customer number wise, order wise, total employees. And the situation, what are the functional specifications we have to give to the technical team here in the sense of, first of all, we have to give the specifications of, I need the database table of KNV for the customer number. And as well as I need the VBAK table for the sales orders. And whatever which I am having, these of the both of the database tables, from on these both of the database tables, what we have to do that it has to be takes the values of the this one and another one. That means for the first table of the customer number and the second table of the customer number has to be the same. From there it has to get the output. How it works. For that specifications which we are giving, that I need the customer number and the order number and the selections of customer number, and even if I want to make it as a country also, I can make a selection of the country also from there. So as per that I need the requirement. As per that I need the output. The functional specifications are too easy for this one, which we have to set only the things of so and so so and so. So yeah, let me press this. Yes, yes, this is the way. Right middle to and change. Then. So as per that, I have mentioned the values of here, which is the order values and order names and everything. And after getting of this outputs also, after getting of
And sir, hello.
yeah, tell me that.
In functional specs, we have to give the fields also, na? These fields are there.
Yes,
And
that's what first of all I have explained. That's one. See, as in a functional guys, you need to give the functional specifics like this one. I need the customer number and I want the customer name. I want the order number. I want the order date and I want the order value. That's enough. We need to propose these of the functional specifications to the technical team, and as per that the technical team will recognize as that okay, the customer number has to be comes from the table of KN1 and the customer under the table the customer number has to do, that means KUNNR. Like that they are writing the program for this report, but you have to give the specifications of the tables and as well as the fields what you want. That means from which table it has to be taken and even from which of the fields you want. Those two is enough for our functional specification. Nothing is more than this. Right? And here whatever I have written, I think so instead of the saving the rest gone. Let me save it first. So after proposing of this one, order values, we have to set that start of selection. That means when we have selected start of selection, when we have selected the start, what we have to do in the sense of as which we have done there, select V KUNNR and the V main one and the V main one and also V land one, and as well as KVBELN and KERDAT and KNEDWR, and these are the things which I am required, and these are the things into the table of T underscore strc, and whatever the T underscore strc there, from from V as KNA1. That V has to be mentioned as an a KNA or else KNA1 as V, whatever you want. Either this way or this way. KNA1 as V and as like as VBAK as something. KNA1 as V and inner join, those things has to be inner join where VBAK as K. After that VBAK as K. Some errors will be there, but it is in sense of we didn't completed this one. So VBAK as K and after that on whatever we have taken under that V of KUNNR. V of KUNNR has to be equal to the K of KUNNR. The V of the KUNNR and the K of the KUNNR should be the same, and where KKUNNR in customer, where VKUNNR in the selection option which we have taken as a customer. So this is what I am interested. So the join has been defined, or the relation between of the both of the database tables is from the both of the database tables, the output has to be comes like this when we have selected the selection. So after entering of the selection options and after making of the selection options and everything, now I have to write the output. So for the output I am writing the loop. So what was the purpose of the loop for this? In the sense of the main purpose of the loop here is to make the multiple of the records of the same customer. For that loop at the loop has to be start where it was. The loop has to be starts from T underscore strc into where the output has to become into the table of which we have taken as an A tab. Something the T underscore strc into A tab. Strc into A tab. Under that, what I have to write? Now here, write at the rate of 20 from the 20. I need to start what it was in the sense of I need to start the A tab of A1, say which I have taken as the A1. The same values has to be comes into the work area also. That's why the A tab of A1 and the 40. A tab of A2 and then 60. A tab of A3 and 80. A tab of A4 and again 100. A tab of A5 and 120. A tab of A6. But whenever this data will be coming to here, which I am saying that it has to be comes, but when the data will be comes from the database tables here, wherever it was, that means when it sends in the sense of at end of, wherever the field will be ends, which of the field it was? A1 in the sense of customer number. Whenever the customer number will be ending there, what the system has to do? In the sense of the system has to do the sum. Whenever the customer will be going to end, there the system has to be make it as an end, and even after ending of that, what the system has to do in the sense of write. The system has to write here after the 30 spaces like this. The total order value is the total order value for the customer is, comma, the maximum of 100 records, and the table of A tab, and it has to be make the sum of the field of A6. It is from the loop again. You are paying money, customer, and we are getting the output. That means when we want to make the output, in the output, what we have to write in this. So here, loop at loop at t underscore strc into into the table of data. Under that A tab, I want to write these things. What are these things in this? So for the 20, I need the A tab of A1 and even A tab of A2 from the bacteria of A tab A2 and here from the A tab of A4 and even from the A tab of A4 and here A tab of A5 A tab of A5 and here A tab of A6. But when the data will becomes into the here in the same page, not the end of, that means in the same program, in the within the loop, not only end of the loop, within the loop, what it has to do is also at end of A1, that means at end of customer number, what it has to do in this also, it has to do the sum. It has to do the sum, and after making the sum, it has to be mentioned the output like this: the total order value is, comma, maximum of 100 records from A tab of A6. This has to be made the value of total of the A6. A6, what is the A6 which we are taking here? It is an order value. At the end of the even, it has to be make the order value of total, and whenever we are using the at the start of, and here at end of which we are using, that's why it will be closing it by ended, and even the loop has to be starts with the loop and it will be closing by the and loop, and we are taking the start of the page or the top of the page in the starting. That's why here we have to mention as an end of page. End of page. Top of the page and as well as end of the page. So now check it out what will happen. Execute it. And I'm checking it now. Now there is no more syntactical errors will be there. So now I want to check it out. Execute, and I want the details for the customer of 1000, and then execute it. See, the customer number 1000 is the customer name of so and so, and the country of so and so, and the order numbers which they are having, all these orders, and those of the orders has been generated on these dates. And what we said that at end of the customer, see, the total order value is so. Even we can make some some good look for this one. Some good look for this one. How it was in the sense of, let me check it out. After making the headings, just make as an U line and another U line. Done. Now check it out. Done. Done. For the customer 1000. Correct? You can circle. And even in before of printing the total order value is, there also I want to make an underline. When it was at after making the sum, and before of one U line has to be clean, and after that another U line has to be clean. Now let us see. Now let us see what will be happens here. Activate it and test it. 10,000. Now, as a financial guy, one financial consultant has been given the specifications for us. What they are requiring is, they are requiring something like this. They are requiring the report that has to become from 1000 customer numbers, 1000 to 1100, and in between of this 1000 to 1100 customers, and the values has to become like this. That means one is the, it has to become as an so one is the customer number and the customer name and the country and the order number and the order date and even the order value. So at the end of the customer it has to become like this. So this is what the functional specifications which we got, and as per that functional specifications we completed the report of the classical interactive report, or else which we can call as a complex interactive report. Complex interactive report.
Hello.
Yeah, tell
Hello.
me. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, we can add subtotal and total in that case, like FBL1 and we have different these windows buttons. Hello.
Yeah, tell me. I'm here.
We can add subtotals totals in this case for output also, no?
Yeah, you
Like
can.
FBL1,
Yeah.
in FBL we are having total subtotal sub column.
Yes, we can. That means what we have to do
We
that
can.
here I have done that. I have written one event, right? And even why don't you call as in a multiple of the events? And even when holding the data, I have used the two of the database tables only. Even you can use the four of the database tables also. As per the requirements of the functional as per the functional specs requirement, we can make that. That is not a problem at all. Even we can write multiple of the things also here. There is not at all problem. Is it clear, Atul?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, George, is it clear for yours? Is there any question list for yours? George is there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, George, do you have any queries on this?
I'm just looking into
Uh-huh.